What's going on, everybody? We've got JT here. We've got C-Will with the Passive Income Network. Unfortunately, David over at Crypto for Change cannot be with us this week. He just had his firstborn son, so I guess it's really not too unfortunate, but it is unfortunate for the show. Can't wait to have him back on. But how you doing, C-Will?
I'm good. Been having a busy week. Happy to be on the next block. And shout out to David and the new baby. Beautiful little Luca.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Exciting time,
amazing.
really. It's baby season. I think Cooper's about to have his any day now as well.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Coop. And I think
Couple
Damien
more
will
in the
have
audience
one
as
too.
well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Last week we had about five new coming fathers. So that's
100%.
dope. Yeah. How you
100%.
doing, JT?
I'm doing great, man. For first show back in the office since I went on vacation, which is nice. Still gotta fix a couple things, but we're rocking. We're back at it. The vacation was terrific, but it was a little exhausting, honestly, because I
Yeah.
went to a music festival and then did a lot of hiking around Colorado. So I came back pretty tired. Definitely slept it off for a little bit, but we're back at it.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah. Yeah. Those long vacations definitely get you. And you said you on a road trip too. So I know that was a long drive.
Yep. Yeah, the drive was absolutely exhausting, but yeah, it's like a 31-hour drive straight to Colorado. So like,
Oh, wow.
it's definitely too much time to be spending in a car. I mean, if you have the option, definitely fly. But as I said, we're going to a music festival, so we had a car full of camping gear. You can't really, it's hard to fly with all that stuff.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, well, welcome back.
Yeah, it's been crazy too. I mean, looking at the market, I mean, everything's kind of
Whew.
still in the dumps. It looks like some of these bigger funds might be risking liquidation as well. So
Uh,
it's quite an interesting time to be paying attention to the cryptocurrency market.
oh, yes, yes. As we see, you want to cover the market a little bit? We
Yeah,
see
absolutely. Let's pull up this news from Three Arrows Capital. Let's see if I can get it
my
up here.
star Cadius, mine's due in November. Well, shout out to you too,
Yeah,
this
awesome.
baby.
Babies galore.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
congrats to all the new parents and soon to be new parents out there, of course. But so we got Three Arrows Capital, 3AC, as a lot of people know them in the Twitter world, and it looks like they're plunging into liquidation, as this CNBC article discusses, which is just really interesting because the more you dig into a lot of these funds and you have these impressions of them of being these very intelligent, smart
Yep.
money managers, and then you find out they're just degens like everybody else. It is really interesting. I'll say that for sure. But it is also unfortunate because the more organizations like this that have a lot of capital that are very risky with that capital, the more it risks negative prices for all of the assets that
Yep.
we enjoy. So whether we like them or not, it certainly affects us.
Yeah. So we do know what Three Arrows took almost a $700 million loan from Voyager Digital, right? And from the research, they lost about a third of it in the Terra Luna collapse. So they definitely are having problems and with some other liquidity. Do you know what else other bad investments they made?
No, but well, let's see. It says right here, 3AC. Let's see. I'll zoom in a little bit so the
Yeah.
audience can get a better look. Not on that guy's face, though. That was a lot. Let's see. Yeah. So 3AC defaulted on a loan from Voyager Digital, made up of 350 million in the U.S. dollar pegged stablecoin USDC, and
Yep.
15,250 Bitcoin, worth about 304 million at today's prices, which is
Yeah.
kind of wild, honestly. 3AC had exposure to the collapsed algorithmic stablecoin Terra USD and sister token Luna. The Financial Times reported earlier this month that US-based crypto lenders BlockFi and Genesis liquidated some of
Mm.
3AC's positions, citing people familiar with the matter, and 3AC had borrowed from BlockFi but was unable to meet the margin call.
I used to use BlockFi when I first kind of got into crypto.
Oh,
I
really?
saw, yeah, yeah.
I never used BlockFi, even though at a certain point it just seemed like every influencer that you watched on YouTube had a BlockFi link and was trying to shill it to you.
Yeah, that was definitely me in the beginning. But yeah, so shout out to BlockFi. But yeah, so they're getting liquidated right now. They're doing way too much. We got these, what'd you say, degens, right? That's how we say the word.
Basically,
Degenerates. They out here doing a lot, making bad trades. So that is something that we all think that or the consensus is like these hedge funds, because they're supposed to be hedging the investment, right? That's the name of the word, but they're not hedging. They're actually being more and more riskier than the probably average guy is doing, and they're blowing their accounts. We in the bear market.
Yeah, it's honestly a little bit mind blowing, but I mean, this part of the article right here is perfect explanation of the worries of something like this. The unwinding of 3AC has sparked contagion fears to parts of the market that could potentially be exposed to the company, and the more money in the system that gets rehypothecated and lent out numerous times, the more risk is added to the entire system. So portfolios and companies like 3AC and BlockFi and all these centralized lending platforms that rehypothecate users' funds,
Yep.
they add a serious amount of risk to the system.
Well, it's kind of similar banking, right? Because banking, they do now do fractional reserve banking, so they don't actually have to have all of the reserves in their accounts. They're making moves and swaps at night, and
Yep.
then now we're clearly seeing these crypto hedge funds are doing the even worse. They're doing the same. We don't even know if it's fractional at this point. Not your keys, not your crypto.
Well, that's the thing. It's an absolutely great point. They definitely are doing fractional reserve lending, but some of them might not even be doing that because there's no proof of funds at some of these entities. So they could have literally nothing in funds at a certain point. They could have already been wiped out, but still offering lending services to customers. But
Taking
even in
those
the
calls.
best case scenario, it is definitely fractional reserve lending. They're taking users' money. Say I gave them $100, they can lend that $100 out like 3 or 4 different times on the platform, depending on what it is. So,
Yeah, then the problem comes when everyone's, is trying to get their money out, liquidate at the same time. Then
yeah,
they got, they're like, oh shit, we got 3 people that want their $100 back or 1,000, and they can't do it. So then they put out a message and say, some internal problems or something, and they freeze withdrawals, and then here we are. Because some of the guys I've been talking to, they got all their Bitcoin, their XMM, their Ethereum, all on Celsius, the biggest bags.
wow. Yeah, it's really interesting because, these centralized lending platforms are basically really similar to under collateralized smart contract lending platforms, which those don't really exist in DeFi because they don't work. I mean, it's proven that they don't work, which is why any lending protocol in the space that actually functions and works properly is an over collateralized one, which is AlgoFi. You need like you can borrow what's like 70% of what you deposit or something like that, 80% of what you deposit, so you still have that over collateralization factor. So of course lending and leverage in general adds risk to the system, but protocols where you can see upfront a transparent view of the funds that they have and knowing that they're over collateralized will always be safer than under collateralized centralized entities in which you don't even know if those funds actually exist.
No, no, it's still the wild wild west. It seems to be out here and during crypto winter.
In my opinion, it kind of puts an exclamation point towards DeFi and why actual useful DeFi products are necessary, because these centralized entities in the crypto space are basically doing exactly what was going on, the conditions that happened that basically created Bitcoin and crypto in the first place. So,
Yeah,
that you know,
damn. There's a great documentary. Yeah, I'm gonna get that name in a second. I just watched it and it was breaking down everything that happened during the crash of 2008, 2009, what did create Bitcoin. And yeah, it's exactly what you said. That's what happening. They're basically doing faulty loans and what's the other, I can't think of the other word right now, but it's all risk, super risk. And then what it is, it's a wealth transfer of the guys in the corporate are basically getting all the money, taking their private jets, and they're putting everything on business credit and on business. Then the business flops, but they keep all the personal stuff. That's pretty
yeah,
much what's happening right now. And then you got FTX is looking to buy Robinhood. Robinhood's kind of in trouble. And Goldman Sachs is looking to buy, I believe, Celsius. That was the next move. So it's going to be another situation where Goldman Sachs was highly involved in the 2008 and 9 crash. And now here they are basically involved in crypto. It's interesting.
I think everyone should move away from Celsius and towards things like AlgoFi and Folks Finance, but that is,
Yeah,
I suppose, just my personal opinion on that one.
yeah. Definitely, because those high yields are attractive. Like the Terra Luna thing, like once a month I looked at to getting on Anchor Protocol, and I was like, damn, that 20% looked nice. But I just couldn't
Yeah.
get myself to do it, and I'm so happy I didn't.
Yeah, I looked at it plenty of times and no one could ever explain to me where that 20% was fully coming from. So
No, no one.
I always stayed away because, there are some ways that you can generate actual yield, but like you have to know where that yield's coming from because there are some risky ways and there are some less risky ways, I suppose,
Yeah,
to generate that yield. And if it's kind of a black box of yield, you're just better off assuming it's probably one of the riskier ways.
yeah, yeah. It's like the a Ponzi, as they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, anything else on the broader market that we should discuss before we talk about Algorand a little in depth?
I
What you guys?
know. Let's see, hold on, let me check this out.
I mean, while you're
SEC
looking,
rejects Grayscale spot Bitcoin
yep.
ETF application, so they're rejected again. So no spot Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think we all expected that to happen, unfortunately, but I think GBDC is they're suing the SEC now over that, so we'll see how that what comes of that. Probably nothing, but we'll see.
Yeah, breaking down the chart.
Yeah, just giving it a quick look, honestly. I mean, everything kind of looks the same, probably realistically, as the last time we looked at this. But these two red lines I have right here are the next two inflation prints. So I just kind of have them on the chart
Oh, the
just to,
announcement.
yeah, just to see if anything comes from them. The next CPI readings are July 13th and August 10th. So that's where these red lines are. I
Okay.
I am expecting things to go down, but we'll totally see if that's right. Excuse me. But looking at things like the weekly RSI and the weekly MACD, you kind of come away with the thought that we could be nearing a bottom. Like we're getting pretty darn close. This MACD is starting to round off and looking like we could cross any day. When it crosses, it basically means a reversal signal. So when it
Mhm.
crosses up here, that was a bearish reversal. And as you can see, the price followed. And once it crosses down here, that'll sign a bullish reversal. Uh, Obviously, nothing's ever 100%, so I wouldn't just like base all of your bets on one indicator. But when you put all the indicators together with the fact that we're down like 85, 90%, it's not a bad time to be buying.
No.
We're still stuck in this downtrend though, so no, don't expect. I personally wouldn't expect this downtrend to be broken anytime soon. I think we're going to hit the top of it soon, probably, which would be around 40 cents, and then that'll determine whether we break it or not or follow back down. But we're still in a downtrend until we break this trend. So even if things went up 15, 20% tomorrow, if we're not out of this downtrend, I'd expect it to continue.
I mean, yeah, that what I'm looking at too is like overall we're in the downtrend, which means we're gonna probably keep going down until we get an overall market reversal. So myself, I've been doing a little shorts here and there with my algos because I do ultimately know it. If it pops up 20-25%, it's probably going back down based on these overall conditions. And that's definitely what this chart is looking like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's actually going to go this far, but I plotted this nice like green line, green box right here, which is basically between the two lowest points of Algorand, that the low it made on September 23rd in 2019 and the low it made on March 9th of 2020, and those are at 9 cents and 16 cents.
Ooh.
So, I don't think it's necessarily going to go down there, but I did plot this little parallelogram between those two spots and at the bottom of this channel. So we'll see if it gets there. I personally think it's totally within reach, but like it would be kind of crazy to see it go that low because I've
Yeah.
always said this green line right here is November, and I've always said probably for months now that I think the bottom is going to be around November. So in reality, it kind of plots out perfectly that in November we very well could be in this green
In the
box,
green
which would be
zone. Yeah.
kind of wild to think about. But I'm,
Kind
I'm
kind
not
of scary.
I'm not convinced we're going to go that low, but it is of course within the trajectory that we are on. So anything is within possibility. I wouldn't be going leveraged long like 3x right now, but even though I think it's a possibility, I've been adding a lot in these levels, so I'm clearly not convinced it's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely if it hits those levels, I'm gonna take out a loan and go buy that shit.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, I've already committed that if it hits this green box for whatever reason, I'll sell like all of my Lofty tokens and buy.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. It would be definitely worth it. Let's answer a couple of these little comments real quick.
Sure.
Goldstone says, "How would someone from the community connect and work with an Algorand dev to write smart contracts?" Find them on Discord. There's an Algorand Discord, and they have a developer portion where you can actually, kind of matchmake with people in there. So I'll definitely go look up the Algorand Discord and the developer section and go chat with people and contact
Yeah.
Reach Lang.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all probably your best answers, really.
Yeah, so that's what you would do. And then, what is your governance period 4 strategy? Do we even know what governance 4 is right now?
Well, we know it's, you have like 12 or so, 13 days to sign up for it, but I mean, I don't they haven't announced anything like any votes or anything. I don't think they're going to announce anything too soon anyway. Even the earliest votes they weren't announced until after the governance sign up closed.
Well, what I'm doing is AlgoFi Vault. This time, I'm gonna put more algos on there. I had a small bag on of last governance, and I did actually end up hopping out. I believe governance 2 for whatever reason. But now that I got the vault, it makes it a little bit harder for me to move my bags. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm adding more algos in, and I'm sticking with AlgoFi. I really like that platform.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretty much do something similar, but this past period I did like 75% AlgoFi and around 25% of my stash in Folks Finance, and I think I'm gonna switch it around this time and do it the opposite way and do 75 Folks Finance and 25 AlgoFi.
What's the advantage you see?
There's a lot of advantages actually. I really do think it's becoming the supreme way to do governance, especially with the updates that they're doing. But even without the updates and just the way they had it this past period was honestly kind of great because you're essentially given close to 100% liquidity in your governance, as opposed to with AlgoFi where you can borrow, maybe up to like 70% of your AlgoFi vault. With Folks Finance, you essentially put your algo into governance and you're given back a G algo in return for every algo. And, for the most part, the prices have been holding pretty steady. I mean, it's never gotten off a substantial amount. So you're basically given this G algo token where you can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it immediately and you're still entitled to those rewards. So anyone that mints a G algo is entitled to the rewards, whether they give G algo back to the platform or not, which is a very interesting setup. So you're basically unlocking the liquidity at close to 100% with no borrowing. Like you don't need to borrow at all. So there's no risk of liquidation with this process. You're entitled to the rewards right away. I mean, obviously you have to wait the 3 months, but you're entitled to them just by minting. So even there's no chance of going under your commit after you've minted because those algo are already there. So it frees up the ability to do so much more and not have to worry about being liquidated, not have to worry about going below your commitment. And the changes that they're making, they're going to make it now because this past period you just voted with the foundation. But this time, they'll be collecting users' votes and actually taking note of what the users actually want. So it won't just be a blanket vote with the foundation. And they're also changing it so you can claim your rewards right away. So, which is really interesting. So say, the governance period when it starts, say the rewards are 7%, and you want to claim your estimated rewards right away. You claim them at 7%. Now, if those rewards go up as they do, as governors fall out, and by the end of the period it's at 8%, you can't claim anymore. You've already claimed your rewards. So you claimed your 7%. And whatever the difference is, that's actually now the revenue model for Folks Finance. So say you claimed on day one at 7%, but it goes up to 8%. That 1% difference is now essentially their revenue, which I believe they're trying to start like a revenue sharing model with, which is really interesting. And that's actually, they're switching their fee structure around so that revenue model will take the place of the fee structure they had before. So they did charge a fee. It was like 5% for their governance system before. So a lot of people didn't want to use it because of the fee. And now the fee is completely removed and they now get their revenue through the process I just explained.
Things are getting interesting for sure. I'm a dabble with them.
Oh, NF Domains. Shout out to them in the audience. I appreciate that.
Hey, what's good, NF Domains? Dope project. What do you say? $50 USD, lemon character, and baby lemon twirling around in the air, hugging. Like what?
Oh, it's a super sticker. It probably just explained the sticker. I don't think we can Restream is telling us what the sticker was. I think that's what it was. But
Oh, okay.
awesome. I appreciate that. No, NF domains is pretty awesome for those that aren't aware of what it is. It's pretty fantastic, really. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I did an overview video on my channel. I'll make
We've got
another.
we've got a couple NF domains right here. You know, Algorand Mondays, the next
Yep,
block,
yep. I got a
and what
couple of
have you.
myself.
Some of these aren't fully signed up yet, so don't send things to them. But it is a really great process. If you do want
Let's
to,
do some shout outs real quick.
for
I see
sure.
John Man in the building. What's good, Zilla? That's Jack. What's good? Kareem, NF Domains for sure. Mr. A,
100%.
Goldstone. Who we missing? Star. Shout out to Star. Kareem, John, Damien. Shout out to all y'all. Always like to do those shout outs. Appreciate y'all for tapping in.
Absolutely. And, you know, if anyone's feeling as generous as NF Domains just was, I mean, super chats are a thing during live chats, but also this QR code you see at the bottom right of your screen is a multi-sig wallet controlled by all three of us here, JT, Will, and David. And all funds will go to the next block and growing the channel. So if anyone's feeling generous, we certainly welcome donations, but it's not, of course, obligated. We appreciate all of our fans.
Most
It's
definitely.
pretty great audience we have that we're growing here. But moving back
Yep.
to moving back to Algorand and folks finance and governance, I do think that governance in general, the DeFi options are only getting better. So I really do hope that we see a larger commitment through through the DeFi options and kind of get the benefit of our TVL growth that way. But we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, great. Could you made me think, could you pull up the Algorand charts or stats with like wallet creation and all that? I haven't looked
Sure.
at that in a while. Let's that's a good talking point right now. We're down market, but if we keep getting our active wallets, as because your board talks about, we need more active wallets. If we got our active wallets going up, that's a good sign that Algorand is in a growth period, even though the overall market is in a bear. So this is going to be interesting to see, y'all. Leave a comment in the chat, what y'all think about the growth of Algorand right now. Let us know.
Yeah, let's see. I can't find the active wallet one he's talking about, but let's see. Let's turn this on.
Okay.
So this right here is number of accounts by balance. So people with over 1K algos,
Going
those
up.
wallets have been increasing. Over 10K
And
wallets.
this
I
is
mean,
1 month, the 1 month chart.
1 month. Over 10K algos have been increasing. 100K increasing. The only thing that's been decreasing a little bit is the 1 million
Wales,
and the
yeah.
10 million. But the 100 million has been going up. So,
Interesting.
yeah, it is really. I wonder if these 1 to 10 millions have just been growing into 100 million, and that's why it looks like they're going down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, click the 6 months.
But even on the 6 month, this 100 million whale wallets, I mean, there's not many. There's literally 9 of them right
Uh,
now. But
hmm.
let's go to 10. That's been growing over 6 months. I mean, it's grown from about 193 wallets to 208 wallets. So over the last 6 months, whales have
You know
been
what?
buying. I mean,
I think a lot of
not these ones though.
a lot of people have multiple wallets too, so some of these could be spread out.
Absolutely, but over
Yeah,
100K algos, that's been
yeah,
popping
that's a good
off
chart right
over the
there.
6 months. Same. Look at this 10K. These are all retail investors. A lot of retail.
10K and under is definitely retail. Yeah, from my understanding, like even the stock market is like 20% retail and the rest is institution. So I'm assuming crypto.
Pretty good growth on total accounts as well. We're around 17 million to start the year, and around 26 million now. Almost 10 million accounts added, which is like
Damn, that's a lot.
honestly that's like a 60 or 70% increase from the beginning of the year just on accounts
Impressive.
alone.
Hey, we're growing, good signs, y'all. Good
And this
signs.
is actually a good sign too. The average balance decreasing. This basically means more and more retail as whales kind of disappear. I mean, it sucks because it also means whales are dumping their bags. But
Uh-huh.
honestly, like you kind of want a lot of whales to get rid of their stash eventually. You don't want it to be such a high concentration of like 70-80% whale
No.
wallets that are controlling, the price of Algorand. You want it to be more distributed than that.
You know what pops in my mind? I seen an article or statistic. Michael Saylor's BTC fund, his Bitcoin, they are potentially own 1 out of every 161 Bitcoins right now. That sounds crazy. I seen that on Twitter. I know it makes me think of this Algorand thing that We got more of us that are owning it or owning Algorand as retail investors. That's a great sign for decentralization. But now it looks like it's about to possibly be a problem with Bitcoin if Saylor and them keep buying it up. Some say it's not a problem. What do you think, JT?
I mean, it's an issue, but not as big of an issue as it is with like coins like really most L1s, including Algorand. Algorand isn't immune to this, but if you look at this right here on from the Into the Block app, which is a fantastic app, you'll see Bitcoin right here, concentration by large holders, and you can figure out what they mean by large holders, but that's at 10%. Now you search algo, and you'll see a significant difference, 79%.
Ooh.
So about 80%. So I'd say, even though of course it is an issue that one person can own such a large amount of any asset, it's a bigger issue for tokens like Algorand and really honestly any token that's super cheap right now, because to buy up 80% of Bitcoin would cost quite a lot of money,
Yeah.
but to buy up 80% Algorand, although also a substantial amount of money for especially like someone like you and I, for a billionaire, that's like a percent, or 2% of their money. You know what I mean?
Not bad at
So,
all. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's a good
exactly.
wallet growth.
Let's see. I'm trying to
So,
think my
yeah,
mouse. Oh, my
couple
mouse just
fun
died. I'm
notes.
moving to the laptop mouse.
Yep. I love the fact that we are under the radar. Watch when all the BS is shaking out of the market, people start looking for real layer ones. Yes, Star, I'm
Yep.
with you. We're gonna
Yeah,
see an explosion. I'm with you, Star.
yeah, I agree. Honestly, I think the bear market, although will be tough for people that look at the price every day, it might be tough for them. But I do think it's going to be good for Algorand in the long term.
You know who it's really tough for? Everyone that bought the top of the market when they bought their first cryptos in November.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Wazilla say, I'm still algo strong and ready for its next rise. My buys have been somewhat consistent. So happy for the lows. Get ready for the highs. Yeah, man, that's what I'm on too. Like just dollar cost average. That's what I'm doing. If you really believe in the project and it's strong, dollar cost average. You know what, JT? Let's talk about something else. Something that's been on my mind. People be talking to me about what are some ways or strategies that you invest or excuse me research a project off the top. The first thing I like to do is figure out who the founder is and what that founder is about and the founder's energy and background history. In terms of Algorand, we're talking about Silvio, right?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
definitely where I love to start.
Yeah.
Then I like to go into what problems are they actually solving in this real world right now. What you think about those two starting off?
They're the best two ways to start off. I mean, 100% you should be looking at who made it and who the team is behind it,
Yep.
and are they able to carry out the vision that they're purporting to to carry out. And then you also want to look at the use case, and you want to look at the total addressable market, or as people in finance call it TAM, TAM.
Yep.
You really want to make sure that you're investing in something that has a actual use case and not just a theoretical use case, and an
Yep.
addressable market that is huge and maybe even untapped. So it's tough investing in things that have quite a lot of competition, which the L1 space is already kind of getting that way. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping we see some more clear winners in the end. But really, those are definitely your best two starting points: is start off with teams, start off with the founder, and then research what the actual project is and what it does, and not just what it says it does, but like what it actually does. And
Yep.
that's whether you have to go through audits and see who the auditors were and read the audit reports or whatever. Definitely get more information than just the business itself or the crypto itself,
Or,
because
or
they're
the
they're
roadmap.
yeah, they're going to give you the best information they can, and they're going to make themselves sound the best. And it might all be accurate, but you want to get third party information as well, just to get some information that isn't pampered by the PR team.
Exactly. And another thing I like to actually look at is the all-time charts. And I know right
Yeah.
here, this is a part where Algorand gets in trouble.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, it's tough too, because when you're looking at things like Bitcoin, you have like almost a decade's worth of
data.
data to go off of. When you're looking at something like Algorand or even a newer project, it's like you kind of don't really have a lot to go off of. You have a year or two or three of data points, which really isn't solid enough to make too many historical predictions into the
Yep.
future.
So yeah, then when we think about L1s, we're like, okay, downtime. I look at fees. Developers. Someone just asked in the comments, How do we find like the growth of developers? Do you know how to find the growth of developers?
I'd imagine it's different for every blockchain. I know Algorand on their website, I believe they do have a developer metric. I'm not exactly sure how they calculate their metric, but I do believe they have one on their website. But um I'd imagine there are some projects that it's really hard to figure that out.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a tough part. But in terms of like, if I was looking at stocks, yeah, I'm definitely pulling up the all-time chart as well and seeing what direction is going. Crypto, I'm, little less because as we just described, anything's been happening and crypto is way more volatile. So I don't put major, pressure on the charts like that because, like as we say, Algorand's 3 years old, and most of
Yep.
the like mega stocks that are doing well did not have a great chart in their beginnings.
Yeah, and charts can't predict black swan events anyway, so it's like, you could have certain trends going in a certain direction, and then all of a sudden, COVID hits and
Yeah,
everything plunges 70% in a week. It's like
exactly.
there's no chart expert that could have predicted that.
No, not at.
But another good thing to look at also, especially if it's a cryptocurrency, is the fully diluted market cap versus its actual market cap, because there's a lot of projects out there that have potentially a very small market cap, maybe of like 5 million, 10 million, but they have a fully diluted market cap in the hundreds of millions or even a billion. And all that means is only like 5-10% of the tokens are in circulation, and
Yep.
the rest of them are held on to by whales and early investors and the protocol itself. And that's 90% of tokens that are just going to slow drip being dumped on you over X amount of time, however long the vesting period is. And you don't want to be in a bear market holding a token where 80% of the tokens are being dumped on you throughout the duration of a bear market. It's only going to make the bear market twice as worse.
Facts. Like, oh yeah, you don't want that. Check some of these. Smile. So what's the updates coming? Yieldly and Smile have some new updates. You know anything about that?
I don't, but I did read that YLDY does have like a new UI coming and things like that, but I haven't seen new updates live yet, but I also can't say that I use the app terribly frequently, so I might be missing something.
Yeah, me too. I have not been tapped in with Yieldly. Um, Maybe Seb Quinn needs to come out in the public and
You
get,
know,
get another interview or something.
even though it was, I had plenty of hard questions, I do at least give him props for coming on my show that one time and answering
Yeah,
questions.
I was watching.
He did when it was requested of him, he did come out to answer questions. So I
Yeah,
mean,
shout out to
you,
Seb
you,
Quinn.
you got to give him that at least. But
Yeah.
speaking of partnerships, I mean, one that we do have our eyes on is this recent partnership with Opulus and the Para wallet.
Hmm.
This is interesting because from what I understand, let's just read this real quick. The partnership and the future plans. We truly see Para as a gateway to the Algorand ecosystem, both for newcomers to our wonderful community and also for veterans. We've worked closely with Opulus to initiate the partnership and contribute to the ecosystem growth together. The plans for the partnership are as follows. Trusted ASA badge for Opulus, which I thought was interesting to add. That doesn't really seem like a partnership part, but so we'll skip
Yeah.
over that. But
Yeah.
then joint community incentives, marketing campaigns, and social contests and giveaways, and also working together to ensure smooth processes for Opulus token vestings, MFTs, and NFT distributions on the Para wallet. So it looks like the Para wallet will be helping them with their token vesting, which is very interesting,
Yeah.
and teaming up to do community incentives, which there already are a couple right now where you can win like Opulus tokens through Para wallet community incentives and marketing campaigns, which would be really interesting to do joint marketing campaigns as opposed to just like the Para wallet marketing on their own or Opulus marketing on their own. It's like the ecosystem coming together to market the ecosystem, which
I
which
think
is
that's amazing and what
yeah,
should be done because
yeah, 100%.
you have to see more unity in Algorand as a one force, so that way everyone's on the same page. And Parawallet definitely has to be, and I'll say my algo because I do love using everything on my laptop. But
100%.
those two need to be, I would even say, even more integrated, not centralized, but just integrated, so that way we can have more interoperability. Because one thing I don't like about Parawallet, and I hope y'all listening, I hate that I have to, when I'm tapping in on a website like AlgoFi, for example, on my phone, I have to go back and forth and, like swipe up my screen. I need it to be fully a way that I can just click and it does it for me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like in a way where it's a lot easier, so I don't have to swipe back and forth. And I've seen that on other applications and wallets.
Yeah, the DeFi wallet does something interesting where you basically don't have to really be signing for those transactions, but there's a trade off to it. There's a security trade off. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Also, shout
It'll
out.
be
Oh, sorry.
really interesting too because I do think that just in general the Algorand wallets. I don't know how they would do it. I don't know if it's even possible, but I do think they could become more seamless because you'll be on an app and you say you wanted to do a multiple transactions, you got to sign for those transactions many times in the course of you being on the app, and
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. But for a seamless time, it would be nice to just be able to do it once, like what I mean, one
Yes.
time, one interaction, one sign in, one sign of the wallet, and that's it, as opposed to every single time. And it would be really interesting to see who could solve that problem in the most secure way.
Yeah, I think so. But so back to the Opulus. Recently, I know they like somehow they sent me another
Yeah.
MFT. Right? Did you get another one for any of
Oh,
your?
no, I actually haven't. I didn't invest into the into Opulus. You and David did though, and both of you were
Yes.
saying that took it was taking forever to get your stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I and recently somehow so I got another one. I don't know if that was a mishap or mistake or something. Who knows? But I did
Yeah,
invest in two of their three drops,
yeah.
hard as and a little pump. And I
What was
know
that? What was that extra one you got?
it was the same thing. It was another SNFT, which I can't explain why I have two.
Huh?
Um, so yeah,
Hey,
it's been interesting. And then one of them, I think both of them too. I have to double check right now. They're not even collectibles, right? They're not
yeah.
on my collectible page. So I'm curious about where this goes. And now I know that my first investment, I guess it got cleared in November or December of 2021, and here we are 6 months later, and we haven't not received anything yet in terms of a royalty payment. But it's a good news that they are still working, right? And they are doing a integration with para, which means they're going to have some other organization also making them accountable to the community. So I want to see more organizations tap in. And I still have some faith in Opolis, but I have, I'm not looking at the token as much right now.
I will say I did check out the token price earlier, and I was kind of blown away. Um, it's it's literally like 40% or like 50% higher than what the early backers got in at.
Yeah,
It's
it's looking bad.
it's kind of wild.
Yeah,
It's basically almost at the original early backer price, which
yeah,
buying right. I mean, in theory, if Opulus turns around, buying at these prices, you're basically like an early investor before it popped off to like $7.
yeah.
Not financial advice because I
Definitely
certainly
not.
I'm not buying at this current moment because I'm too worried at how low it could go, especially because I mean if we go back to what I said before, it has a pretty high fully diluted market cap even compared to its current market cap, so there's still plenty of tokens that could be released to put some downward pressure.
Yeah, and one mishap, we see how the market, looks at these coins. They're like, oh shit, if they don't drop or do something bigger soon in the next few months, that's going to put more FUD into the market for Opolis. I feel like, 'cause
Well, I
you
mean,
know what? Who else? Hamburger Pimp. Shout out to Hamburger Pimp. He had this thread too a month or so ago talking about how he actually invested into the very first before Big Zoo. It was
before
yeah,
even before it was Opulus, right?
before it was Opulus, yeah, and
Yeah,
he has not received anything from that. So they kind of pulled a low key a Do Kwon. They had a different project, and then they changed the name, upgraded, and they still have the same project, and
yeah.
we're still having the same outcomes. Bad taxi talking about. I wish I could short Apple.
I will say, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm not going to
too late.
specify any specific ASA, but there are a lot of ASAs that could be short and would be great to be able to short them.
Yeah,
I believe Deridex is coming out with a decentralized kind of like options trading platform, which would basically let you buy like put contracts on ASAs. Granted, not. I guarantee you, not every ASA will be able to be short in that manner because there has to be somebody on the other side of that trade, and I can't
yes,
imagine there'd be some ASAs where somebody would actually like agree to be on the other end of that trade. So
yeah, and
we'll
that's the
see.
thing about trading options and stuff. Which I'm not an option trader. I'm a crypto guy and a long term investor, but options are always interesting because yeah, you do need to have someone on the other side betting against you.
Well, yeah, because you're with an options contract, somebody is writing and creating that contract
Hmm.
for the other party to buy. So like who's going to have especially a token that they know is a rug pull, who's going to agree to write some put contracts on it or something, or like,
Yeah.
or
Or
whatever.
some
Like,
calls or
yeah,
whatever.
it's like they're like, I know this is going to zero. I'm not going to let you short it. Like, what?
Yeah. Wild. All right. We are water. What are you talking about? Sold OPUL at $6. Great trade. I mean, JT hit a great trade. I
Yeah, it
got
was
out
close. That's
around
higher than me, but I think my top was like 530 or something like that, which
I was like
was,
two
and then I
something.
saw it run to like 730 after that or whatever because I sold like on the way up, not on the way down,
Which is
and
smart.
and I was true, but at the time I was like, damn it, I should have held on to it, but then like that feeling didn't last long. It was very quick to be below what I sold at, and I was like, oh sweet, I'm
You know,
awesome. Yeah.
as they say, like taking profits, you can never go wrong by taking profits. You made money.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I didn't feel too
Absolutely.
bad about it because I was buying it originally at like 70 cents and then sold it at like $5. There was one of the best trades I made, honestly, in the last like 2 years. So I really couldn't complain.
Yeah. Oh, I want to say too. Shout out to Damien. He sent something to the community, our group wallet. So big shout outs. Appreciate all those algos.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Damien.
Yes,
Appreciate that.
like 100.
Absolutely. So, going back to some partnerships and projects on Algorand, we basically covered Opulus, we covered Para.
Bobby ran
Um,
100K.
oh man, I saw that too.
Yeah,
I can't, I can't say that's a great idea, but if you make it, man, I mean, let us
you
know.
definitely gonna be rich if that come back.
We'll have to have you on the show, and we'll turn you into the instead of the Dogecoin millionaire, we'll make a personality out of you into the Anurand millionaire. But uh, so yeah, we spoke about Opulus, we spoke about Para, but it's a couple kind of newcomer to the range because they weren't around long, but we've got Humble Swap back in action.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know they
using
were
it.
they were around for maybe I don't know, probably like a week or two before they
Yeah,
discovered a vulnerability. Nothing actually happened. They were smart enough to figure it out ahead of time and do the correct fixes, and they're back with their correct fixes. And a lot of people have been ranting and raving about some of the yields on their app,
yes,
and I
I
haven't had
will.
time to switch yet because I literally just set my whole computer up from vacation, so I haven't really looked at
You'll
Humble
like
Swap's
Zed,
yields yet.
Zed,
Uh,
because you already got some Zed. You'll like
oh,
Zed.
I gotta connect my wallet to see this the pools, but I'm not going
But
to do
yeah,
that
so
with all you
I'm
to
looking
see.
at like the Weblin pool is looking well in terms of the APR. You got
Nice.
Zed looking great. Algo Dow. There's a few other on there if y'all looking for high yields. But always know that ASAs, y'all, volatile, more volatile than Algorand, and Algorand is going to be more volatile than Bitcoin. So there's going to be levels to this when we are yield farming, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like they're loading now. And the thing is, too,
It has a little UI trouble sometimes loading with this site, I'll be honest. But they said
interesting.
high traffic caused that a couple days ago. They did respond on Twitter. So we always appreciate a quick response.
True. But, I mean, high traffic is like the community is small. So, I mean, these websites got to be able to handle
Facts. Yeah, you're right.
traffic from a community that's 10 100 times the size of this. But
Facts.
regardless, it does look like these yield farms are kind of crazy right now. 300%, 232% for Algo and goMINT. 27% for Algo USDC, which seems
Well,
more
that's the best
reasonable.
pool. You know how that safest pool.
But I will say to anybody that does want to yield farm in this manner, this is liquidity farming essentially. So basically, what you're doing is providing liquidity to two token pairs and then reaping the benefits of the fees essentially on the from the DEX. So the fees
Plus
that
some rewards.
exactly. Sometimes there's rewards too. Foundation is giving out some rewards, but typically the rewards you get are from the fees that are generated on the decentralized exchange. Those fees usually are given to the LP providers.
Yep.
But when you provide liquidity to two tokens, you're often susceptible to impermanent loss. And for those that don't know what impermanent loss is, I highly suggest you
Yes.
to go to youtube.com, type in, let's see if I can load. I've got too many things open right now. Type in whiteboard crypto impermanent loss. and watch these two videos right here. What is impermanent loss and 6 ways to avoid impermanent loss. And then you'll be equipped with all the knowledge you need before you enter these pools, because, you know, these 200%, 300% rewards might look flashy, but there's also ways you can actually lose money depending on market conditions. So definitely watch those videos so you understand what impermanent loss is before you jump into anything.
So, for example, like if you hop in 2 pools, one pool, Algo, like I'm not going to name another coin because I want to put no salt on them, but let's call it Aniran, right? And you put those 2 coins in there, Aniran goes to 0. So you essentially half your bag went to 0. Now you're not properly balanced in liquidity. So it's going to be hard for you to pull out. That's essentially impermanent loss. If Aniran went back up and balanced you back out, you would be fine. But usually when it goes to 0, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and of course things could happen to the less extreme conditions, but that's pretty much exactly the case essentially. And
in the other direction, if one spikes too hard as well, it puts you out of balance.
Yep. And in the best of scenarios, even when the market conditions are poor and you're experiencing some impermanent loss, oftentimes you're not really losing money, but if you compared it to if you just held the coins and not provided liquidity, you might be short a little bit than what you would have had. So it's a little bit of a different concept to grasp, but definitely watch those 2 videos. That's my recommendation, at least.
Yeah, definitely understand impermanent loss. That shit's real.
Whiteboard Crypto honestly does a great job at explaining things, and it does it in this like very animated and kind of whiteboard way, which is
with the hand moving.
Yeah, it's exactly. Honestly, I found a software that you can pay to actually do what he does, which is really interesting. But it's definitely more money than I want to commit to something right now.
Oh damn! I was sending my way.
It's certainly a really, really, really great resource. So check him out.
Yeah. So Tommy say, I feel like doing an LP, you need to approach it more like holding a bond for a long period of time. Well, facts. Yes, I agree with that, because the longer, from my understanding, the longer you hold anything that's of quality, you have a better shot of it reaching and appreciating a price that you would like.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, but short-term trading, you definitely got to get in and out. DeFi. That's 1 month left.
1 month left for the pre-sale distribution. So in 1 month, everybody that got in on the pre-sales, the early investors, will have all their tokens, and
you too,
those that want it, me as well. I've been getting them every day. They do a daily distribution, so I get my DeFi tokens every day.
That's dope.
Before I even wake up, mostly, usually they're there, and I just add them to the LP pool on AlgoFi, because it's like a DeFi stable LP pool that's yielding like 22% or something like that right now. So basically been putting them there, and anybody that wants to, any early investors that wants to sell their DeFi that they're getting, over the next month, they're probably going to sell them. And then after that, all the people that have wanted to sell them will probably already have sold them, and what's left standing are all the holders. That's my guess, at least.
Yeah, makes sense. Oak says, what's your thoughts on pop and puffins? We had them on last week.
We had them on. I had a couple criticisms that the Oliphant showed his face, but his connection was poor, so it went in and out. But I did have a couple criticisms in my comment section that a couple people didn't like, that the head of the project was not on camera and was just kind of there by voice, which I understand the concerns. I mean, people want to have especially after being burned a couple times, people want to be fully doxxed, but I also understand and respect people's privacy too. So it's a tough one. It really is. It's a tough one, because in a way, privacy is kind of what started the crypto space. It's like, I don't know. It's tough. It's certainly a tough one, because I understand the people calling for all projects to be 100% docs. Give me your social security number, everything.
Address and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm with it too. It's like so the Oliphant showed his face. I can't remember the other name.
Same, actually.
The Ock, Lil Ock. Lil Ock. So Lil Ock didn't, but we did learn a lot about them. So I'll say half the team, half the founders showed their face, half the founders didn't.
And to be fair, I mean, we'll be honest too. Lil Ock did show his face to us before we went live. It's not like he was trying to be fully.
He does have a mustache, right?
yeah, exactly. But people just respect their privacy in public and want to make it more about the project than themselves. And some people are also in places, whether it be jobs or countries, where it's really frowned upon that they might be doing crypto things, and they don't want to attach their real life identity to
Facts.
their digital identity. So
Yeah, when you talk about crypto, right? I was talking to a guy the other day. He was, a little older, maybe in his, retirement age. We'll say about 60 or something. But he sees crypto as like just gambling, right? And but also,
I think a lot of it is right now, though. I mean,
yeah,
if we're
yeah,
being real, not all of it, but I feel like
yeah.
there's a large portion of it that is. I mean, even with the big funds we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, I mean,
Mhm.
they're all gambling their money away like degens anyway. I mean,
Well, I always go back to the stock market too. I'm like,
that's
well,
yeah,
you could say the same because if you look at like Redfin and like all these different companies, they're all down 60 to 90% as well. So it comes down to a few things. Like I told the man, I said, well, it's all gambling until you get educated, right? And then you have conviction, you have a ability, an idea of what you do want to invest in. You have a long-term mindset. There's different things that goes into it. But of course, if you throwing money out there and you just gambling, that's truly what you're doing. I'll say if
yeah,
you want to go gamble, go to Algo Casino. Like that's what I'm thinking. But I always, preach or talk about doing your due diligence, your research, and having conviction. And that's
yeah.
what I have with Algorand and other things that I invest in long term.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, I love gambling. I love playing Texas Hold'em. I love playing blackjack. I enjoy the casino vibe too. I mean, I
Yep.
don't go there too often because it's not a place you should really frequent. But there's a time and place for gambling. I don't think it's with
Yeah.
your investments, but even
No.
if it is, I don't frown upon like using, and I do this sometimes. I'll use like 2 to 5% of my portfolio on like a moonshot or something. Something that's like pretty much a gamble. You're like,
Yeah. If you
maybe.
lose it, you lose it. Yeah.
But yeah, portfolio and risk management are key if you actually want to gamble a little bit. Because I don't think there's anything wrong a little bit, but there is something wrong if you have that gambling mindset but have no idea how to do risk management and you're just it's just risking your whole bag on a gamble. If you risk 2% of your bag on a moonshot and the moonshot goes up 50x, that moonshot's now almost 100% of your portfolio. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So you did well, but if it goes to zero, you still have 98% of your portfolio that's just
Facts.
chilling. So
Yep.
risk management is absolutely key. But to bring
Risk,
it
risk,
back a
risk.
little bit on the conversation on pop and puffins, because we didn't really answer the question, I don't
Oh
think.
yeah, yeah.
I think the project itself is a totally fine project. I'm personally not a big NFT collector or buyer, so I probably have more biased thoughts than people. But I thought the project itself was good. I thought they represented themselves fine. I don't think it's like a rug or anything like that. I think the art's cool. We all have our own little. I deleted him. I don't have him on this right here. But yeah, we all have our little Puffins character. So I mean,
Yep.
we definitely supporting the project. Like from the outside, I think it's a good project in the sense that they're coming from Luna, and hopefully other projects migrate as well. Hopefully they start a trend of projects migrating, which would be fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Puffins, I like the art. It was a good vibes of the conversation. And I am sort of more, I'll say I'm into NFTs. I definitely support and I love what NFTs do, but I know I do not buy all NFTs.
yeah,
I like NFTs that give me royalties and things of that nature. But I think Puffins is dope. They did, so far they have over 100K in algo volume, which is a very good positive in terms of the people who do want to collect. And we do know, based on our podcast that we did last week, that they're going to have different updates and partnerships and things that they're going to be rolling out, like video games and not. And again,
yep.
I'm definitely into GameFi NFTs because off the top you have utility there, even if it's just for entertainment. So collectible entertainment, that's what I'll call it. So I think it's a pretty dope project. That's my opinion on it. Go to NFT Explorer, check it out. Type in
Yeah, I'm
Puffin.
trying to pull it up right now, but my page keeps saying I'm unresponsive. Am I frozen or anything on your end?
No.
All right, I'll just let it be. I'll just let
Yeah.
it keep saying that then. Unfortunately, I can't click on anything
Here,
else.
I'll send it to in the chat. Like that.
Unfortunately, I can't click anything. But you man down the show for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Oh, I can share, huh? Yeah. Can y'all see the screen? Uh-oh. We back? Shit.
We are back.
Can you see my screen? Yeah.
I'd have to add it, but there we go. It is right here, and we're back. This is the NFT Explorer, which is actually amazing. If anyone uses Algo Explorer to get information for anything Algorand and token related, this is basically that, but for NFTs on Algorand, which is a really interesting Explorer. You can see all sorts of things. You can go over here to statistics.
Oh, see, they said spit. Hey, Hoke, I got something for you. I got a new one dropping about a month or so. I'll do a couple of bars of it. Grown man, big world, tiny man. Big bags, 100 grand, rubber band. Life of blockchain, never be the same. Verify the ownership, change the game. A little something for you.
Well, let's turn this back on.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a little something for you, Hulk. So definitely look out for that one. That's some new bars that'll be exciting. Shout out to Tiny Man. That's the plug on that one. But yeah, let's get back to the poppins.
Oh man, I might have to let the crowd know that occasionally I beatbox. We're not doing it live right now though. Maybe another time me and C-Will can collab. That's so funny. So funny.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Hulk. Got me hyped.
Yeah, it got me hyped too, man. I'm all distracted. I don't even know what we were doing. But yeah, NFT Explorer app is actually pretty dope. I mean, if you look at Algorand ASA NFT monthly sales by marketplace, you can see the algo volume has been steadily increasing. I mean, we had 1 or 2 anomaly months right here in February where it was, well above trend. But if you look at this, it's just been increasing and increasing. I mean, just this time last year in July, we were at 30,000 Algorand volume in July of last year. Now we're in June. This month is just ending, and it's something like almost 4.5 million, 4 million Algorand worth of volume compared to 30,000 around this time last year. So quite the difference a year makes in reality, which makes you kind of excited to see what the difference of the next year makes.
Oh yeah, we ready for a 10x.
Oh yeah, Hulk. We do both DJ too, huh? We should definitely do. We should definitely do it back to back. I agree. We should just throw an Algorand party. We'll have a couple DJs. C-Will will make a feature. I think we should rent out like a warehouse somewhere and have like have an Algorand rave or something.
That'd be dope. Yeah. Oh wow, good stuff. You want to slowly close out?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I appreciate everyone that came and enjoyed some of the fun with us. Hopefully next week, hopefully we're not sure, but hopefully next week or the week after, David will be back with us. We're going to give him all the time he needs, of course, because having your firstborn son is something that doesn't happen very often. So you got to take all the time you need. But I appreciate everyone that came out and supports the show regularly, and anyone that donated, of course. We appreciate you extra hard, and this has been a fantastic episode, C-Will.
Oh, most definitely. So shout out to the Algo fam. You're always showing up. We all going to grow, educate the world, and onboard, and then increase our bags. That's the plan.
Absolutely. Like, subscribe, share, hit a comment down below. Do anything you need to do to get those get the algorithm. Yeah. You want the algorithm to put this video in front of as many faces as possible. So like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and we'll catch you in the next one.